Forbes breaking news here in Arizona. Going to be tapping in with Kari Lake. Shout out to Kari Lake. Kari. She's the best. One of the best. She is she is Trump endorsed. She has former President Donald Trump's endorsement. She's running for Senate here in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's see what she has to say.
Your name and
Jamie Vera with Fox News.
There's a lot of press here.
Cook Political Report today shifted Arizona from lean Republican to toss-up. We're going to see Vice President Harris here tomorrow. Just wondering if you're concerned having Harris at the top of the ticket, if that could hurt Republicans at all, and if we need to have Donald Trump, or if you believe Donald Trump should come out here and campaign as well.
I think that Kamala Harris is actually less popular. If you can imagine this, Joe Biden is so unpopular in Arizona. I'm out talking to more people than all of you guys combined. I talk to more people every single week in Arizona, I think, than anybody. And because I'm a populist candidate who has a great relationship with the people. People don't like Joe Biden. That's pretty obvious. They like Kamala Harris even less. They understand that she hasn't done anything for the border. I don't really believe all the public polls. I've seen a lot of polls. I tend to like the ones that are the internal ones. That's the one where there's no BS involved. And so, you guys can try to create, like I said, it's like a makeover show, total makeover. You're trying to say that somebody who has done nothing for the border, called herself the border czar, has done absolutely nothing, is a San Francisco liberal who destroyed San Francisco. And you're trying to now all of a sudden act like she's the biggest superstar on the planet. And you can say that all you want. And there's a reason that your viewership and your subscriptions are just in the tank right now, because no one's believing the fairy tales that you're telling.
Cooking right now.
And so say all you want and try to take this horrible ticket, the worst we've ever seen, and turn it into something special. The people feel it with their real lives. They can't afford to put food on the table. They're having to go to food banks to supplement, to make ends meet and feed their family. They know what it's about. And you can bring every, singer, rapper, actor, whoever you want to bring into the Democrat rallies. It's not going to change the fact that Democrat policies just don't work. They're devastating for individuals in this wonderful state and really across our country.
Bars. Man, shout out to Kari Lake, man. She kills it. Straight up bodied this reporter.
Gary Alex, NBC News.
Say, get that nonsense out of here. You can have all the cool little people, little flashy little things, but if it ain't helping the people make ends meet to go pay for their families' groceries and keep the lights on, keeping them safe, getting all these crazy folks out of here, it's just all this. Let's continue.
You took an endorsement from Karen Taylor Robson last week on primary night. Would you be open to endorsing KTR should she mount a gubernatorial bid in 2026?
Oh my gosh, you're looking to the future. I like that. I'm looking to the future as well, and I see a future with America First policies of really a great economy again, safe streets once again. That's way down the line. I do appreciate that that she endorsed me. She endorsed me right after we were declared the winner last Tuesday, election day, and I really appreciate her endorsement. She's a businesswoman. She's had great accomplishments, and I welcome her endorsement. I don't even know that that's what she's planning on doing, and so I think we need to get through this election. Would you all agree we probably should get through this election? I think people are a little bit, frankly, by the time this election rolls around, they're going to want a tiny little bit of break as we roll up our sleeves and get to work. So thank you. Who did I miss? Let me ask this, and then I'll get to you. Is that okay?
Gabriel Sandoval with the Associated Press. I'm interested to know, did Harris miss a chance to improve her standing in the state by not picking Senator Mark Kelly and picking Walz?
Well, I actually didn't realize that Walz was on the list, and when I saw that she picked him, I was thinking, is she trying to tank the ticket for the Democrats? Because I saw what happened, guys, in the summer of 2020 with Minneapolis. I've got family who lives there. They were scared to death. The city was on fire. Businesses were burning. People were suffering. He didn't do anything. And by the way, Kamala Harris was bailing out the criminals who were burning people's businesses and torching cars and attacking people. And
Shout out to Kari Lake, just dropping these bars right now. It's just, she should be a rapper.
Ruben Gallego was actually marching in similar peaceful protests, as the media calls it. He was marching in those protests, protesting the police, and he was doing all that. He calls the police the bad guys. He calls the police the bad guys. So, frankly, I don't care who you plug in. You can put Mary Poppins in there. The policies of the Democrats are destructive. This is why we have record inflation. This is why the cost of living, rent prices in some areas have doubled. That means that you guys, when you pay rent, you're going to either get a much smaller apartment or you're going to have to take on another new roommate. Our mortgage rates are nearing 8%. We can't afford gas. You go to fill up your car and you can't fill it up anymore. You can only put a little bit in because you don't have the money to do it.
Man, that is like, whoo! That's insane,
And
man.
we're watching fentanyl kill people. We're watching.
This is like everyday, like you could tell she's talking. People of the everyday life is speaking to this individual, Kari Lake, and she is understanding their issues here. She's understanding that all of this stuff is a struggle. It's like, and then you just hear Kamala Harris talk, and it's just like, it's like none of it exists, or it only exists because someone that's not president anymore is the one is responsible for it, or it's just always this one side that's responsible for it. It's just so crazy, man. Shout out to Kari Lake, just killing it right now.
War starting overseas. I don't care who you put into that ticket. Like I said, Mary Poppins herself could be there. This is a disastrous ticket because it's a disastrous policies that are hurting the American people. Cameron, back there.
I got a policy question for you. So back in May, the state of Texas announced you're talking about border right now, landowners compensation program. In the Senate, is that something that you would like to see on a federal level essentially for rancher landowners along the border who get money back for property damages? Is that something you would support on the federal?
Are you talking about when illegal crossers damage their property, cut their fences,
yes.
do all of that?
So it's the crop damage out there, and then you go there, like, here for all the garbage that's left over, the damages for that.
Right.
And so is that something that should happen on a federal level?
Well, I'm glad that you're asking about it. Cameron actually does some pretty decent reporting, and he covers this kind of stuff because the ranchers, people living on the border, are suffering. And they're losing livestock. They're afraid for their lives. The good news is, Cameron, starting in January 2025, those ranchers are going to have a huge sigh of relief because we're going to stop this invasion at our border. So in January, that's going to happen right away. And they're not going to have to worry about having all this damage. But we'll look at all of that. I don't want to stand up here and make a policy decision, but we want to make sure we are protecting people along the border. But the way we protect people along the border is we stop the invasion at the border. And we take all of the disastrous policy that Joe Biden ushered in on day one with Ruben Gallego cheering him on, 100% behind
And
it.
reverse all
and
that
we get
nonsense.
rid of all that disastrous policy, throw it in the trash.
Yes.
We bring back common sense policy that President
Yes.
Trump had to truly secure our border. So that's going to happen in January.
What a great woman. What a great lady.
Was you the one?
She is so awesome, man.
We've seen a number of state Republicans gather behind both Harris and Ruben Gallego for support. I was just curious to get your reaction to that, and I wanted to ask, is there any concern to you that the GOP is fracturing in Arizona?
I don't think so, actually. I think it's growing. I mean, look at all these people here. Many of them are former Democrats that are going to vote Republican. Thank you. We are the party of we the people. And I think they had, 10, 11, 12 people, and they called themselves Republican. But they voted for Hillary. They voted for, Hobbs. They voted for everybody except Republicans and now they're going to vote for Kamala Harris and this Walz guy. And they're going to vote for Ruben Gallego, the most radical liberal politician to ever run in Arizona. I think you have to maybe at that point look in the mirror and decide if you want to maybe register as a Democrat. I don't know. If a few Republicans are becoming Democrats, that's up to them. They get their vote. But far more Democrats are coming over to the Republican Party. And the party is uniting. And I will say one more thing. I got polling, and I got close to 90% of the Republicans who are with me right now. and I think it's like 88 or 89%. President Trump's got 90%, so I'm pretty close to where he is. I believe the Republicans are united around me, and they want to have secure borders. They don't want the Trump tax cuts to go away. Most people who are business owners, Republicans, don't want the Trump tax cuts to go away in January. How many of you want a 20 or 30% increase in your taxes come January? They want to have a secure border. They don't want to be starting off new wars. So I'm not worried about that. I would let them know I still do want their vote. I welcome their vote. If they start to realize that things about Ruben Gallego that he's putting in his commercials aren't true, and they realize how liberal he is and they want to come back over and be Republicans, we would love to have their vote. I want your vote. I want you guys' vote. When you realize how disastrous this has been for your generation, I would love to have your vote as well.
Man, this lady is so cool, man. We need people who will sit up on this stand here and talk to the American people. She got the American people behind her. Got the American people right here. All backgrounds are here. You can tell there's men and women, different nationalities and stuff like that. And she's out here asking questions, or she's answering questions here. And standing in front of the American people and talking to them with no teleprompter. Where's the teleprompter at? yo, find me the teleprompter here. I don't know. Is there one hiding behind this guy? The guy that was asking her. He had to. Anyway, the whole point of this is what we need. We need Americans that are literally can stand up in front of a bunch of other Americans and speak coherently about real policies and issues that she has an idea of how she could fix them, and understand that the people that are in power right now say that they could fix them when it's their turn, when it's like, you're already there. You're already in office.
You need one more question. Do we have time for one more? How about this lady in front here?
Hi, Kari, Rachel.
A great lady here.
15.
Hi.
Kind of just going off of that, you easily won last week, but it was somewhat close in just compared to how much money you raised compared to Mark Lamb and seemingly the events that you were holding, things like that.
16% is a close election. I didn't know that.
I guess just looking, not to say that you didn't easily win, like I said you did, but with the amount of money that you were raising and the large events you were holding, there was a closeness there. What do you do to bring in those Mark Lamb Republicans to win them over?
I think the Lamb supporters are already with me. I really do. First of all, let me educate you guys. 16% is a landslide victory, just so you know. 16% is massive. And I love Mark Lamb and I love his supporters, so I actually welcome them, and I believe.
Yo, so do I. Shout out to Sheriff Mark Lamb. He's doing God's work out here. If you guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you folks don't know who Sheriff Mark Lamb is, and you're all about an America and an American standing on business and for principle, he looks like a cowboy and everything, but he's a sheriff out here. He speaks Spanish. He's out there talking to the American people. He's out there busting these criminals, catching these folks that are illegally going over our border and coming into our country here. He's catching drug traffickers, all that. Shout out to the homie Mark Lamb. Go Google him. Go Google Kari Lake and go Google Mark Lamb. Shout out to Sheriff Mark Lamb.
We're going to get all of them. I really do. I did raise a lot more money. You're right. I think we raised 11 or 12 million actually. But guess what? Guess how much money I spent in the primary? Zero. I didn't spend a penny. I have been, since I jumped into this, focused on the enemy. And the enemy is not Mark Lamb. The enemy is actually Ruben Gallego and these socialist policies. So I ran a general election since the 10th of October when I jumped in. I've been running a general election campaign. I haven't spent money on the primary. I didn't talk about the primary. I talk about my true opponent, who is Ruben Gallego. And so you don't pour money into a race that you're already going to win. I already knew what the polling was going to be. I knew I was going to be victorious. And therefore I didn't focus on that. So I think for not focusing at all on that, I think that was actually a massive landslide victory. But if you think 16 points is a close race, then I'll take a close race. Thank you. All right, guys, thank you so much for being. Oh, did we miss you? Oh, my least favorite publication. Now, when is the Arizona Republican to start being fair?
Kari, Ron Hansen,
with the Arizona Republic. You know, you spoke about your polling and how your campaign did in the primary and such, and that you have Republicans united behind you. When do you expect to see a flood of money coming in from, you know, all the various Republican organizations from Washington, or the endorsement and you know, public backing of people like Karen Taylor Robeson or Doug Ducey or others? Should we expect any of that to, you know, sort of make the case? That,
We just said Karen Robeson has endorsed me.
will she be on the trail with you?
I don't know. I mean, she's running a business, and I'm okay on the trail. I mean, you know, I think an endorsement, you know, it's never enough for the Republic, though. It's never enough. It's like a 16-point win isn't enough. You win in a landslide, and they say it wasn't a big enough landslide. You raise money. I raised $5.2 million, and they say it wasn't enough. You know, get endorsements from people and they say it wasn't enough of the endorsement, or it wasn't a big enough endorsement. I don't know what I can do to please the Arizona Republic, but I'm not trying to please the Arizona Republic.
Just laughing at these fools right now.
I'm
That's
happy
crazy.
with where we are. We have the
It's just never enough, man.
NRSC has been incredibly supportive, and they're helping us run ads. We're running, I think we've got a $10 million ad buy right now. I'm comfortable with that. We have Club for Growth supporting us, and so I've got a ton of support. But most importantly, I have the support of the people of this great state, and that is where the power is. The power is with the people. So I appreciate every endorsement I get. We just announced a new list of endorsements today. We've got General Mick McGuire, former Representative John Shadegg, Congresswoman Debbie Lesko, Newt Gingrich, Jerry Moyes, a wonderful businessman, Steve Twist, Amy Van Dyken, 6-time Olympic gold medalist, Jay Feely, retired professional football player and broadcaster, Sal DeCiccio, Karen Robeson. We've got a lot of endorsements and people who are endorsing us. I am not.
These are all folks I think that are from Arizona. I'm not from here, obviously, but they all sound very familiar. I think they're all from Arizona.
Worried that
I need to look into this and some of these folks that back there.
Republicans aren't coming home. I know they are. They know what's at stake. They know the very fabric of this country is torn, and we have to bring it together. I'm working on not just Republicans, but Democrats who are disaffected and sick of struggling and suffering under the Democrat Party.
Right.
And I'm working on independent. So thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Man, what a great woman.
You.
Shout out to Kari Lake, man.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Get this? Yeah. Hey.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
What a great woman. Shout out to Kari Lake. Hey, yo, I'm going to leave this link in the description. Forbes, breaking news. Shout out to Forbes. Kari Lake and Arizona Republicans hold press briefing before Kamala Harris's campaign visit. That was, what was it, 3 days ago? It's August 11th, 2024 today, and that was August 8th, 2024.